How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another video on the channel. Today, as you can see from the title, I have a 10 hour, 30 hour and a 50 hour platinum for you. So we start with the 10 hour platinum. I always see this game suggested in people's videos and I thought I'll give it a go. It's none other than Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. On PSN profiles it's down as a 2 out of 10 for difficulty and it should take around about 10 hours. I've played Ratchet and Clank before when I was younger, but it was a long time ago. So this should be a nice little throwback for me. Hopefully for you as well. So my plan for the platinum has 2 stages. Stage 1, complete the story and get as many miscellaneous trophies as possible. And then stage 2 will be the final cleanup, mainly consisting of completing all of the weapon challenges. Before I get into the game, I just wanted to say thank you to everyone for the support on the channel at the moment. We smashed 50 subscribers and now we're well on our way to 100. If you have any games that you would like me to platinum, as always, just leave me a comment and I'll have a look. Right, let's get into the platinum. Okay, right, let's get into this. This is my first time playing the game, so hopefully it's good, number one. But hopefully it also doesn't take us too long. Let's go with just Rebel Agent, whatever it was on. Start game. I don't know any of the controls that need changing, so we're calm. This is already very different to the last Ratchet and Clank I've played. I can't remember what one it was called. I just remember one of the levels where you complete like a race, then you end up in the superhero Don's house or shop or some sort of thing, which is an amazing description. I do know that, don't worry. Cool, alert the sponsors. Perform 5 trick jumps on the grind rail. Right, first trophy, get in. I'm gonna have to cop that. That's pretty lame. His design just reminds me of the film Robots. I think it's the mouth and the eyes. Shout out to anyone that's seen that film. Hopefully you know what I'm talking about. If not, I will genuinely be shocked. Nah, Clank can't be dead. Oh, okay, good. Well, he's very broken. Okay, Ratchet's not dead either, that's good. To be fair, it would have been a bit dark for a kid's game if straight away just Ratchet or Clank died. Oh, Rift Apart. Get separated in Nefarious City. There we go. Second trophy. Flying through the trophies. Does this make my tail look big? Acquire and equip head, torso and leg armor. Leg? This gun absolutely shreds them. Get wetted. Get done. Mug. Absolute mug. Mug. Get done. Oh, that one explodes. Oh, planning some destruction. Collect a spy bomb. Dank. Oh, I can see the gold bolt. Oh god. It's so close. Yes, I got the gold bolt. Get in. Shiny. Collect a gold bolt. Smash. 1 out of 25. Okay, so we've just got to this other planet. It took me a little while to get through the other bit. It took me about an hour. I can imagine it's probably taken other people a lot less, but I've been exploring like loads of random things. So, just going to give you an update of where we are. So we've got to that new planet. We're now on how many trophies? We're on 5 trophies out of 47. So yeah, I'll give you another update once we've got a few more trophies in a bit. So the trophy grind continued, and I managed to get 3 more trophies straight away on the new planet. I managed to get the More Than Lint trophy for entering a hidden pocket dimension. I acquired a piece of armour for the Sartorial Steel trophy, and already got a weapon to level 5 for the They Blow Up So Fast trophy. I then went through the story getting a lot of trophies, like a hell of a lot. It felt I was getting 1 or 2 trophies every single quest. To be fair, I think some of them were just random trophies, but they were unmissables. as well as a lot of miscellaneous trophies sprinkled in there as well. I'll just run through a few of those before I give my thoughts on the game. So I started with fully upgrading a weapon, for there's even a cup holder trophy. It's so fluffy for finding a Krager bear, I don't even know what the hell they are. Nooks and crannies for finding 5 gold bolts. Must go faster for doing a trick while going at max speed with the hover boots. I collected 3 lorbs for the might have broken something trophy. Full rack for filling a weapon wheel. I also managed to get the only missable trophy in the game, which was Shifty Character for hitting every Blazon crystal on Blizzard and Cordelian. As you can see, I've done a hell of a lot of grinding. So, my thoughts on the game. I definitely think 2 out of 10 for difficulty is correct. It's a nice easy platinum that you can get a hell of a lot of it done just by going through the story. The weapon challenges are a bit annoying, but it's still decent. If you're looking for a good game that you can platinum quite easily and not take too much time, then it's probably the perfect game for you. Even if you don't have much time to play each night, you could spend an hour or 2 in the game and just feel like you've done some serious progress. Would I play it again? Personally, no. It was a nice bit of nostalgia, but it's not made me want to go back and actually play the old ones, which is a shame because other games would made me want to do that. I'd probably give the game about a 5 or a 6 out of 10 for enjoyment for me, which to be fair is what I was expecting, so I'm definitely not disappointed. I'd recommend it, just not as much as something like Astrobot. I think that's such a better game. But then Rift Apart is obviously free on PSN Extra, I think it is, and Astrobot is a £60 game. Although actually I've just checked, and if you wanted to buy Rift Apart, it's actually £69.99. That's honestly a joke. Definitely don't do that. Save the £10 and get Astrobot. It's 10 times the game in my opinion. So as you've seen, I've been extremely busy. Getting trophy after trophy. I've also realised I haven't actually run through the story of the game. So basically Clank wants to give Ratchet the Dimensionator as a present so he can find other Lombaxes in different universes. Dr. Nefarious steals the Dimensionator because he wants to go to a dimension where he always wins. And while doing that, they fight and Ratchet and Clank end up travelling to this dimension as well. Once there, the Dimensionator blows up, Ratchet and Clank get separated, Clank gets found by another Lombax called Rivet, and Ratchet is on his own. Until he finds another little robot called Kit. But Kit is actually one of Dr. Nefarious's creations in that universe that has decided they don't want to be evil anymore. So the whole game is basically about rebuilding the Dimensionator so they can try and get back to their original universe, as well as trying to fight off and defeat Dr. Nefarious. I won't go too much more into detail, as I wouldn't want to ruin anything for anyone that wants to actually play the game. Everything I've said is it basically happens within the first couple of hours of the game, I think, so it shouldn't spoil too much. Back to the trophies. The last few ones I got before I give you another live update were turning on the TV for the Lombax and Chill trophy, killing 5 Grunthors for Extinction event, Extreme Gardening for defeating 30 enemies while they are topiaried, Glitch finds a way for completing all glitch challenges, and finally No Bones About It for retrieving the dimensional map. Okay, so I'm bringing you guys back. You would have just seen a hell of a lot of stuff, probably more than I actually wanted you to see before I came back. But yeah, I've just got the dimensional map. Well, I just got the dimensional map stolen from me. But we're about to break into the prison, I believe. But yeah, I've got so many trophies done. We're on, how many are we on at the moment? Let's have a quick look. So we're on 37 out of 47 trophies. So I've only actually got 9 and then the platinum itself. So we're doing quite well. I think I've been playing only about 6 hours. But yeah, so I'll just get into the rest of the story and then I'll bring you back once I've finished the story. Cool, in a bit. I managed to get 3 more trophies before finally finishing the main story and getting the 2 Fuzz 2 Nefarious trophy. I started with Hole Puncher for getting 20 headshots with the Headhunter. I think this left me with only 1 more weapon challenge left, and unfortunately for me it was by far the worst one. But you'll see that later on anyway, don't worry. I managed to get this trophy during the quest to break Ratchet and Kit out of prison. This quest honestly felt like it went on forever. I just felt like I was chasing their cell for honestly like 45 minutes. It just went on and on and on, but eventually I saved them and I received the I'm the Warden Now trophy for my troubles. I then only had the final mission left, which was to put an end to both Dr. Nefariouses. But before I started the final mission, I wanted to get some Battleplex challenges done. Earlier in the game, I actually done all of the bronze and silver ones, so after completing the first gold challenge, I received the Can't Stop Me trophy. Now it was on to the final mission. While I'd say the game overall was okay, this mission was definitely the best part in my opinion. It was slightly more challenging than the rest of the game, which I liked, plus the huge Dr. Nefarious robot was actually pretty cool. It was definitely a great way to end the game, and I wish the rest of it was more like this. It was also nice that just before the final boss fight, Kit came back to help with it. It was predictable in my opinion, but it was still a nice thing to happen. And plus, it was great seeing Dr. Nefarious from Ratchet's universe just get mugged off at every opportunity by the other Nefarious. And then his death at the end is even funnier. Once I beat Rivers Nefarious, I honestly thought for a second that we'd have to fight him, but then he just gets splattered by the massive robot head. Overall, it was a great mission. Okay, there we go. That's the main story done. It was quite good. I actually really enjoyed it. I was quite surprised. I mean, I liked Ratchet and Clank when I was younger, but as I said at the beginning, I haven't played a Ratchet and Clank game in genuinely like years. So yeah, it was nice to get back into it. I completely forgot who most of the characters were, but that doesn't really matter. But yeah, no, it was really fun, and now it's just into the cleanup. I believe I've only got 7 trophies left, is it? No, it's actually 5, and then I've got the platinum as well, so we should be able to get that done quite quickly. Let's just go through what I need to do. I need to purchase the weapons. Yeah, that's calm. Bounce on Big Owl, Clank and Quark. Yep. Kill 10 enemies by returning shots. I need to get that to level 5 before I can actually do that. To find all of the Krager Bears, whatever they are, and then acquire the Rhino as well. I don't know how I do that, but I can only presume that it's by getting all of the little weird bot things. But yeah, cool. I'll bring you back once we've done a bit more. But yeah, that's the main game. We only had 5 trophies left for the platinum, so I cracked on and got those done. So I started with the Boing trophy for bouncing on Big Owl, Clank and Captain Quark's parade balloons. Then Aim to Misbehave for acquiring the Rhino, which was actually indeed for collecting the robot things as well. Fully Stacked for purchasing all weapons. I did find it kind of odd that I had to go into a new game just to buy that, like New Game Plus. I thought it was a bit weird, I don't know. I don't really like it when games put platinums behind New Game Plus because it's a bit iffy. That's why I haven't done Miles Morales yet, because it requires you to play the whole game again. I know it's a short one when you're just going for the story, but it's still a bit weird. I don't really like it. And as well that I couldn't skip cutscenes. That does frustrate me in games. Obviously the first time I play in a game I don't skip cutscenes, but if I've played the game before or it's the second playthrough of it in New Game Plus for example, I should be allowed to skip cutscenes. And then Unbearably Awesome for finding all the Krager Bears. I just had one final trophy, which was Return Policy. This honestly took me ages to complete. The first challenge was trying to get the gun to level 5, and it's completely rubbish by the way. And then it was to get the kills with the return bullets instead of the blast. Because by the time it's level 5, the blast it goes such a long distance. And then as well, not running out of ammo just for having the shield up. Anyway, I'll show you when the trophy finally popped. Oh my god, thank god that has finally popped. That genuinely, I think I've been recording, right, for 30 minutes. It took me 30 minutes to do that. I kept getting them with like the shotgun blast rather than just getting them with the fucking return shots. It's so annoying, but there's Return Policy, and there we go, Masters of the Multiverse, the Platinum. That took me way too long. Hopefully we can get the other games done a bit quicker. But yeah, let's get into the next Platinum. So the next game in the video is our 30-hour game. and I've gone for Spider-Man 2. This game came out in 2023. It's an unbelievable game. I have played it before, but I've never got the platinum. As I say, this is a 30-hour game, and I believe it's a 3 out of 10 on PSN profiles. I think the only reason it's a 3 is because it just takes a little while. But yeah, so the main plan with the game, it will be part 1 is just complete the main story and get as many trophies as I can during the story. And then once I've completed the story, step 2 will just be getting any of the collectibles and 100% in each district. That'll be the main grind really. 100% in the districts will take a little while. The combat challenges hopefully I'll get during the game while I'm doing the actual story. But yeah, so let's get into the game. Okay, here we go. I haven't played this in a while. I played it when it originally came out, but I haven't actually played it since then. And obviously we played the first Spider-Man a few months ago, and that was for the first time. So if you want to check that video out, just head to the link in the description. The opening of this game is actually so sick. Oh man, the way they've done it, it's just so much better than the first one's opening, I think. Obviously the scale does really help. Sandman's absolutely livid. I do forget why he's angry. I know we find out, but I can't think of it off the top of my head.
A fate you will not share.
Kraven is actually a monster. I'm really not looking forward to the fight against him again. Oh, Leng, first trophy. You're going to need help. Complete surface tension. We're on the board. So, instead of telling the story over halfway through the trophies like Ratchet and Clank, I'll tell you the story for Spider-Man 2 now. If you don't want me to ruin the story for you, then please skip to the time on the screen now. I'll give you a couple of seconds. Okay, so we found out at the end of the first game that Harry wasn't actually away. He was in Norman Osborn's lab, in his apartment, in a vat of liquid with him and Venom inside. Venom cured Harry and he was able to come out of the vat of liquid. Meanwhile, Peter gets a job teaching at Miles' school and loses his job pretty quickly after he and Miles had to go stop Sandman. You're introduced to Kraven the Hunter, who is some wham scary looking don. He comes to New York to hunt supervillains, so pretty quickly in the game, while they're being transported, some of Spider-Man's biggest villains, they manage to escape because Kraven's hunters are trying to steal the villains for Kraven to hunt. Kraven then becomes the main don that you're trying to stop. And Harry also comes back into Peter and MJ's life. They all go to Coney Island for a night out, but disaster strikes when the hunters turn up trying to find Tombstone, who is now actually a reformed villain and just works as a mechanic. While Peter is trying to save people from a Ferris wheel and a roller coaster that also are on fire, Harry comes along using his Venom powers to help him save the day. Harry and Peter then team up to help save Tombstone from the hunters, which they do, but then when they try and do it a second time with Dr. Connors, it goes horribly wrong. I won't tell you any more of the story, as I'll be showing it obviously to you a bit later in the video. But yeah, that's as much of a detailed version of the first half of the game that I could basically give. The second half is where it gets so much better. So guys, so I've got a few more trophies. I haven't got many, but I just watched the cutscene where Kraven kills Scorpion, and I completely forgot how like crazy the cutscenes in this game are. They're honestly mental. It's literally like watching a film. I'm that engrossed in the cutscenes. I forgot how good this game actually was. I've enjoyed it so much playing it again. I've just got the web thing where I can shoot like a line across, and then I know I need to get 25 or 50 stealth kills with that while on that. So I'm going to go for that within the next few missions, hopefully. But yeah, that's just a quick update. Mainly just to say how enjoyable this game has been, and the fact that the cutscenes are just so cool. But yeah, I'll bring you guys back once we've got a few more trophies just for an actual update. So I ploughed through some more of the story and the side content as well, collecting as many trophies as I could. And on my second day of playing the game, I managed to get 9 trophies in total. I definitely found with this game, trophies were very few and far between at first. But then obviously with the 10-hour game, it just felt like I was getting loads of trophies in succession. I don't know whether that's just because Ratchet and Clank has 47 trophies, which is a lot, especially for a short game. Like Spider-Man 2 only has 42 trophies. Obviously it's a whole 5 less. Yeah, I think it's just a bit weird that that had so many trophies. I think that's why it felt like it was continuous. It was trophy after trophy after trophy. But yeah, it took me a little while to get going with the trophies on Spider-Man, but we did get there in the end, obviously. So the first trophy I actually got was for piecing together all of the Sandman's broken memories for the Grains of Sand trophy. Then a story trophy for acquiring the black suit. This mission was pretty sick, only once Peter actually showed up and that you could play with him, because before that you're playing with MJ, and for me, to be honest, the MJ missions, I'm not a massive fan of them. I don't know many people that are, but I mean, at least in this game, she had a taser, so she was somewhat menacing in a way. You could actually fight people. It didn't feel like you was almost like useless like the first game. I don't know why they don't just make it like a stealth mission with Spider-Man, and then you could just take people down stealthily. But yeah, I don't know. I find it odd. Don't get me wrong though, it is 10 times better than the first game, but it still does feel a bit weird. This is also where Peter fights Craven for the first time, and he actually dies. It is incredibly sad, but Harry does actually save him by transferring Venom over to Peter. You then use the new Venom abilities to fight everyone off. After the mission you receive the trophy A New Suit. I then performed 30 air tricks in a row without touching the ground for the Hang 10 trophy. I completed a series of side quests and got the My Community trophy for completing the last one of that set. I also finally acquired the Slackline trophy for 25 stealth takedowns from the web line. We have the first actual boss fight of the game, where we actually fight the lizard. I'm not sure what type of boss fights I actually prefer, whether it's the more cinematic ones from the first game or the ones in this game, where it's just sort of a standard boss fight where you just fight and fight and fight and continuously, rather than there being, say, cutscenes, not cutscenes necessarily, but where you have to press X or square or something like that. It's a hard decision. I'm not really sure. One thing I do like though about the fights in this one is that there's multiple phases. I just feel like when you actually finally defeat the boss, it's just more of an achievement. I can't really remember if there was phases that much in the first one. I don't really remember them, so I'm going to presume that there wasn't as good of phases necessarily. But yeah, I really like that about this one. This is also where you start to see Peter change and become more affected by the symbiote itself. Because during the fight, Peter says some things that is not something that like Peter Parker would ever say. And at the end of the mission as well, when Dr. Connors said that they need to destroy it, he gets really angry. And then once you've gone through that cutscene, you get the trophy for completing that mission. Then the next 2 trophies are related to the mission No Escape, where you fight Martin Lee as Miles. So the trophy you earn first during that mission, it will be Overdrive, which is for using the reverse flux abilities to pull 6 or more enemies together at the same time. The reverse flux ability is it's quite a powerful one, to be fair, out of the ones that you can get. Then you also receive another trophy for completing the mission and actually setting Martin Lee free rather than killing him. It's a very un-Spider-Man thing to do anyway, to kill him, so they was never going to do that, was they? And then it was the final trophy for that day, and you guessed it, it was another boss battle. Well, actually it was 1 trophy for 2 boss fights. This time you're fighting Craven at first as Peter with the Venom suit on. It's a 2-phase boss fight that personally it took me quite a while to do, just purely because of the second phase. The second phase was just, he was so powerful, and those dogs as well. I hate the robot dogs that he brings in, because they always are so annoying to kill. I usually just use the triangle and circle attack on them, but then I can't heal, so it's a double-edged sword really. And then the second boss fight is actually Miles against Peter. So Peter basically gets overtaken by the symbiote, and so Miles has to fight him. And then at the end of that fight, you get the classic cutscene where Peter breaks free from Venom and rips the suit off. I think every Spider-Man fan loves the black suit. It's so iconic, especially like Tobey Maguire when he got it in the films. It was just so good. But then everyone equally just loves when he breaks free from Venom and just rips it all off, and then he just becomes normal Spider-Man again. It's just amazing. Anyway, for completing that mission, you get the Great Hunt trophy. Now, at this point, I just had 13 trophies, and I've been playing for quite a while. Fortunately, a lot of the trophies I still needed were just grindy ones that were going to take some time to complete anyway, so I wasn't massively worried. The first trophy of my final day playing the game was for defeating 100 enemies with the spider arm abilities. I then got through some more of the story, getting the Leave Us Alone trophy. While travelling around, I got the Saw trophy for using my web wings to travel from the financial district to Astoria. I then completed all photo ops for the New York trophy. Finished all of the Flame side quests where Carnage gets teased. I so hope that they add him in either a DLC, or if they actually do a third game, just make him one of the main villains, because he's so cool. I then went on a bit of a trophy popping spree, getting 6 within the next half an hour. So the first one I got was Resourceful for collecting 10,000 tech parts, Seek and Destroy for completing all hunter bases, and New Adventure for completing one of the saddest side quests in the game where you help Howard. Friendly Neighbourhood Spider-Man for completing all FNSM requests, Data Collector for completing all unidentified targets, and then finally the Story Trophy, I Quit for completing This Isn't You. In that mission you actually fight MJ after Venom infects her with another symbiote. It's actually quite a decent fight, to be fair. Moving through the story, once I unlocked Peter's anti-venom abilities, I was able to defeat a symbiote that's under the effect of anti-venom for the Antidote Trophy. I then got an easy trophy done for visiting Aunt May's grave as Peter. In the first game, I actually ended my platinum on visiting Uncle Ben's grave, so I thought I'd do a little bit of a different one this time, and I just done it when I was in the area. I completed all tech stashes for the co-signing trophy, defeated Mysterio in one of the easiest boss fights in the game for the Behind the Masks trophy, found Miles and Finn's science trophy for the Just Let Go trophy, purchased all suit tech upgrades for the fully loaded trophy, and then before finishing the game and completing the final story mission, I wanted to get a couple more trophies down. I started with Evolved for defeating 100 enemies with the Evolved Venom abilities, To the Max for purchasing all gadget upgrades, Surge for using symbiote powers 25 times during Symbiote Surge, and then Exterminator for completing all symbiote nests. I was then on to the final story mission of the game. While some of the cutscenes and fight scenes from the final mission play out, I'll just go through my thoughts on the game. Overall, genuinely, it's an amazing game. I think this one is actually better than the first one after playing it again. But you can just instantly tell how much better the second one is through the gameplay and then the story as well. It just develops so amazingly. Like I said earlier in the video, at times I genuinely felt like I was watching a movie with how good and gripping the cutscenes are. And I just didn't have that with the first game until the end, really. Like, the last part of the first game is generational, but I feel like the whole of this game is just, I don't know, I keep saying amazing, but it genuinely is. It's so good. I do think I prefer the boss fights in this one. I know I mentioned that earlier in the video, saying I'm not sure which one, but I definitely think it's this one, because you just feel like you have much more control. Whereas in the other one, it just felt like it was always going a certain way, and you have to just press buttons to get through a cutscene virtually. I also like the multi-stage boss fights. A couple of them, it was a bit annoying because they seemed to just never end, but mostly it was quite well balanced, and it just added to the importance of the fight or the cutscene afterwards. It just made it better. It felt like more of an achievement once you'd finished it. Obviously the scenery is amazing. New York always makes for a great landscape for a game. And I liked how there was more areas to explore in this one compared to the first one. And most of all, my favourite part, the grind wasn't even that bad. In the first one you had to complete all of the crimes and everything, and that just made it horrendous. Waiting for the right crime was just so annoying. This one is much more simple, much more fun. It's honestly a 10 out of 10 game for me, and everyone should play it. I enjoyed it arguably more the second time around as well, which is crazy. Okay, so that's the end of the main story, and that gives us our 35th trophy out of 42, including the platinum. I told you once I got some grinding done, the trophies would start popping quickly. The last few trophies mainly consist of 100% in all districts, reaching max level, finishing side quests, and purchasing all suits. Then I just have the final trophy left to get. Let's get into it. I started by completing all of the EMF experiments on the map. I wanted to get that out of the way as fast as possible just because I didn't really like those side activities. They was probably the worst ones in my opinion. It's similar to the first game. They was quite dead. And pretty quickly after, I found the last spider bot, which gave me the superior trophy for completing all districts. I reached max level for the amazing trophy and then solved the mystery of the spider bot's origin for the funky wireless protocols trophy. I then attempted to buy all of the suits for the kitted out trophy, but ran out of tech parts of all things. But after completing some crimes and opening loads of chests, I was able to get enough and purchase every suit. Now it's just the last trophy, which is Home Run. You get this for rounding the bases at the Big Apple Ballers Stadium. Save this one till last, just purely because it's the easiest one on the trophy list. I'll take you live for my reaction when I finally get the Platinum Trophy. Okay, I've just purchased all of the suits and I have just one more trophy left, so we'll go get that now. Yeah, so as I've been saying, literally like overall fucking amazing game. And this is just the last trophy, so I've just got to run around the bases. Let's do that now. So we'll just run around this and then that should be the platinum for us. I don't care. I genuinely think I've only done about 4 or 5 crimes this whole playthrough. Right, Home Run. There we go, around all of the bases at the Big Apple Ballers Stadium. And there we go, dedicated. There's the platinum. What a game. What a platinum. Honestly, if you've not platinumed it before, definitely do it. But as well, obviously, if you've not played it, then play it. You're an idiot if you haven't played it, if I'm honest. But yeah, that's the end of the 30-hour game. Amazing 30-hour game. How on earth am I going to follow that up with a 50-hour? But yeah, we'll get into the 50-hour now. So, the 50-hour game. I was worried I wouldn't be able to follow up Spider-Man 2 with a game of that level. And I can't lie, I actually think I've found the perfect game to follow it up with. It's none other than Ghost of Tsushima. A game that I've never played before in my life. And a game that I know is widely loved by fans and critics. I'm looking forward to the amazing visuals and most importantly the combat and story. On PSN profiles, the game is down as a 3 out of 10 and should take around 50 hours for the platinum. My plan for the platinum is step 1 to complete the story and get as many combat and miscellaneous trophies done as possible. And then step 2 will be completing all of the Tales of Tsushima. This will most likely take the bulk of my time. And then also getting all the markers complete on the map. And that should be the platinum. Let's get into it. I started the game and for some unknown reason I decided to play on the hardest difficulty possible. A lot of the people that I'd seen play it before said that it's actually the easiest difficulty. So I thought, what could go wrong? And many things went wrong. At first it was okay, I was killing enemies in 1 or 2 shots, life was honestly amazing. I then got about halfway through the prologue like tutorial part and died about 8 times trying to kill the 3 enemies at once. Not the one obviously where it basically lets you just do whatever you want, it stops the game and you attack them. It's the one after that, up the hill a little bit. I don't know why, I just got stuck fighting those 3 people genuinely for about 20 minutes. And at that point I thought, this is going to go really, really bad and I'm going to rage a lot playing on this difficulty. But then after that I did sort of just decide to persevere and crack on. And I did for a while. You'll see what happens in the video obviously. But let's just say I didn't end on the same difficulty. And if you want to beef me in the comments, then fair enough, I do deserve it. I did pussy out realistically. It may be easy for some of you, but for me, I'm getting old now, I'm 27. My reactions just ain't what they used to be. It's a bit too much. So anyway, I'll just run through the story a little bit very quickly, without any major spoilers, I don't think. But if you don't want to listen to this, then skip to the time on the screen now. I'll give you a couple of seconds. So you start the game about to fight the Mongol invaders with your uncle and the other samurai. Your uncle is Lord Shimura. and he is the Jito of Tsushima. I presume I've said that right. If I haven't, apologies. You lose the initial fight with the Mongols, and you are saved by a thief named Yuna. And you find out that your uncle has been captured by Khotun Khan. And the guy who plays the Khan actually plays Tilla the Hun in Night at the Museum. And every time I saw him on the screen, I just couldn't help but smirk or laugh, just because it just seems so weird him actually being a proper bad guy. Obviously, in the film, he starts out as a bad guy, but then becomes a good guy. But yeah, it just made me laugh whenever I saw him. So then you try and free your uncle very unsuccessfully. So you need to find some allies to fight the Khan again and rescue your uncle. So the first act is basically you just finding the allies and then saving your uncle. The main plot of the game is just to save Tsushima and defeat the Mongolian invaders. I won't tell you too much more of the actual details of the story, just because I don't want to ruin it. At least before I ruin it later on in the video, where I just show you some random stuff that obviously happens. But yeah, let's get into the trophies. I started off slow with the trophies again. There's definitely a theme with the bigger games. The trophies are very few and far between. So you start off after being saved by Yuna, just learning all the controls and sneaking through this invaded village. You eventually come to this building here and acquire your katana, and then finish the tutorial off by choosing your horse and acquiring the Gathering Storm trophy. Then, after failing miserably to defeat the Khan and save your uncle, you're thrown off the bridge into the river and find yourself in the first open area of the game. Before getting into any of the quests, in this area I decided to explore a little bit, and I actually managed to find a Pillar of Honour, and I collected the sword for the Lost and Found trophy. After exploring it a little bit more, I decided I'll start to progress through the story. So I started with Yuna's mission, where you learn how to assassinate people. It makes stealth like 10 times easier. I'm really glad that they added that mechanic in. And obviously when I was playing on the highest difficulty, it made it so much easier just clearing out an area, because if I had to fight everyone, it's a very high likelihood that I would die. So being able to just assassinate as many people as possible and then fight them, it was perfect. And after completing the quest, you received the Point of No Return trophy. My next trophy came somewhat quickly after that for recruiting the Straw Hat Ronin. They're a group of mercenaries, basically blades for hire, and Jin was really good friends with their leader. Then I got another story trophy, Stoking the Flame, for rescuing Taka from the Mongol captivity. Taka is Yuna's brother, in case you haven't played before. And before finishing the quest to free my uncle, I got two more trophies. The first one was for personalising a scene in the photo mode for the A Moment in Time trophy. And then the second one was for staggering enemies 50 times, sorry. I actually got that one just before finishing the quest. And then once the quest was finished, I received the Family Reunion trophy for finally freeing Lord Shimura from the Khan's clutches. So once I completed Act 1, I was enjoying myself quite a lot. It got to a point where I actually could hold my own in a fight. And it didn't seem to be a problem that I was on the hardest difficulty. And then I tried a Mythic Tale. And for the life of me, I just couldn't beat the guy. I got so close a few times, like genuinely 2 or 3 hits and he would have been done. But every single time he just beat me, and I had enough, I can't lie. I had to change the difficulty. And I'll be honest, I didn't just put it down to hard, I went down to medium. It had to be done, guys. I wanted to actually enjoy the game, and if it's making me rage, then it's just not enjoyable for me. I don't know if you guys want to see rages or anything, but just let me know in the comments. But yeah, I'd rather not rage. But yeah. I was then able to get 6 more trophies within the next few hours. I started with the Flash of Steel trophy for defeating 20 enemies with a counter-attack after a perfect parry. Witness Protection for shooting a terrified enemy with an arrow while they are fleeing. Leader of the People for rallying the peasants of Yarikawa. I learnt the Stone, Water, Wind and Moon combat stances for the Quick Study trophy. I acquired all the throwable ghost weapon techniques for the Every Trick in the Book trophy, and then finally Birthright for recovering my father's armour. That armour does look sick, by the way, once it's fully upgraded. I think I virtually wore that for the rest of the game mostly. At this point I'd been playing for a while, so I decided to call it a day and regroup and go again the following day. And that's exactly what I did. So I started with discovering Umugi Cove for the Den of Thieves trophy. I then collected 10 gifts for the gifted trophy. These came in handy, especially in the late game when I needed supplies and things to upgrade the sword. I then killed 20 enemies with the Ghost Stance strikes for the Haunting Precision trophy, and then I found myself at the end of Act 2. To be fair, it seems like a short amount of time, which in my opinion it kind of was. Act 2 was the shortest one, I believe. Maybe Act 3 was actually. But I did just basically play all of the main quests rather than do any of the side content. I wanted to leave that sort of to the end for the platinum. And then just before the final quest in Act 2, you're captured by the Khan alongside Taka, who wasn't meant to be there. Taka then tries some last minute heroics, and then the Khan actually kills him. I'm not gonna lie, as game deaths go, it was cool, obviously, with him trying to fight him, but I didn't find myself feeling anything for the actual character dying. I'm probably wrong, but I only recall like him being in a handful of cutscenes and a handful of missions. So for me, there wasn't really enough of a connection built up with Taka. If it was Yuna though that died, then yeah, I'd have much more of an emotional connection to it because you've been with her the whole way through the game. But yeah, I just felt like Taka wasn't built up enough for us to actually be, well, for me to actually be upset by his death. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I don't know whether you had a similar opinion to me. If you did, then great, but if you didn't, then as well, great. Everyone perceives it in a different way, so it'd be nice to know what you're thinking. I just reckon he needed a bit more screen time before his death, to be honest. After killing all of the traitors, I received the Dying Embers trophy. During the final quest, Yuna gave me the mask that Taka had been working on for me, and I earned the Slay trophy for acquiring 30 pieces of vanity gear. And then finally, after completing Act 2 and defying Lord Shimura's orders, I embraced my new identity and earned the trophy, the Ghost. Okay, so I've just completed Act 2, I believe. I'm currently just locked in a jail cell, which is always fun. Listening to them have a chat. I think he's trying to like break me out probably. But yeah, so far unbelievable game. I had to obviously change the difficulty. I know you would have seen that already, but it was honestly a joke. I'd done the whole of Act 1 on the hardest difficulty, but when I was doing one of the challenges, I can't remember what they're called, the Mythic Tales, I just couldn't kill the guy. So I had to change it midway through that, and then I thought I might as well just keep it the same. But yeah, we're making some good progress. I've got about 20 trophies at the moment, so I've only got 32 left, including the platinum. But yeah, we're just making our way through. I'm going to get on with Act 3 now, and I'll bring you guys back once we've got a little bit further. You start Act 3 for escaping your uncle and his warriors. In the process, your horse unfortunately dies. See, this was a more dramatic and sad death compared to the one that Taka had, in my opinion. I felt more for the horse than I did him. Just because the horse has been there basically the whole game. Since, from the tutorial, you're with the horse. And then you meet Taka for like 4 or 5 quests. And then he dies and you're meant to be really upset. But yeah, the horse made me more upset. Basically. And I got to name the horse and everything. And we've been through so much. But unfortunately he does pass and you bury him by the side of the road. After that horrendous ordeal, you eventually make it to Yuna in the north and reunite with all your allies. And for this you receive the Exiled Alliance trophy. I then got one more miscellaneous trophy for killing an enemy with full damage by knocking them off a ledge. This took me a few kicks to actually get it done, but yeah, I did it in the end. And then it was on to the final few story missions. There wasn't really loads to do in Act 3. I infiltrated the settlement the Khan was hiding in, and eventually I had to fight him. Now, this was a difficult fight. It's just the sheer size of him. And his attacks, they just seemed to hit me from no matter where I tried to dodge. His hitbox was crazy. And it obviously has multiple phases. Now, I struggled with this on medium difficulty. But if I left it on the hardest one, I do not even want to think how angry I would have got. I generally don't think I would have finished the game with a controller. Phase 1 was probably the worst part of the fight for me, as in he was the hardest in Phase 1, because in the rest of the phases it was kind of okay. You can just like run away, fight other people to get your resolve up, and then you can heal, and then you can go back to fighting him. So yeah, then I just eventually beat him just by doing that strategy really. And then at the end of that mission you received a Sovereign End trophy. At this point I thought the story was over, and I was concerned why the final story trophy hadn't actually popped. Then it all made sense. Your uncle has been ordered by the Shogun to kill Jin. So the final fight of the main story is against your uncle. And it's definitely one of the hardest. Old man Shimura has still got some serious moves. I died quite a few times, but eventually I was able to destroy the old man and claim my trophy for completing the story. It was then onto the cleanup. At this point I had 24 trophies, which is over halfway, but I did feel like I had a lot to do still. The main grinds that I could see were the Tales of Tsushima, which I think there's around about 60, and I'd only done 20 at that point. And then all the Hot Springs Haikus, Inari Shrines and Bamboo Strikes. It was a big grind, so I got started right away and got 3 trophies within the next half hour. I started with finishing off all of Ishikawa's tales for the Unbending Archer trophy. I defeated the maximum amount of enemies within a single standoff for the All in the Wrist trophy, and then earned the Headstrong Thief trophy for completing all of Yuna's tales. While I just let a few trophies pop in the background, I'll go through my thoughts on the game. I genuinely think it's a great game. Some of the story choices were predictable, to be fair, but that doesn't really take away from it still being really, really good. Obviously the visuals and the entire landscape are stunning, and it's definitely one of the best looking games that I've ever played. I'd definitely recommend anyone to play it, but I do urge you to go into it without having crazy expectations. I know a few people that were actually disappointed with the game after seeing people rate it so highly, and I spoke to them before I played, so it kind of made me manage my expectations, and it shone above what I thought it was going to be. I did like the fact that once you cleared every Mongol territory, you could see the entire map rather than having to actually go travel to everywhere to unlock everything. I just thought it made it a lot better. It made beating them actually relevant as well. Platinum wise, I'm not sure if I'd recommend it. If you've got the time, then definitely go for it. It's a fun one and you'll definitely enjoy it, but just be warned, it is a grind. And if you aren't up for that, then just the main story is definitely great to play. Let me know what you guys think about the game, if you've played it or if you're thinking about playing it. I'd love to hear what you guys think. I've just shown you 12 trophies, so I'm now up to 39 out of 52. So I only have 13 trophies left, including the platinum. I got 2 for finishing off all of the occupied territories on Tsushima Island, both the new Safe Haven trophy and Master Liberator trophy. I then went through all of the mythic tales for the Teller of Tales trophy. I definitely think the one with all of the jewels is my favourite by far. Quickly after that, I finally completed every jewel in the game for the There Can Only Be One trophy. I found both the black and white dye merchants and purchased one thing from them each to earn the Monochrome Masters trophy. I dressed up as Sly Cooper for the Cooper Clan Cosplayer trophy. I finally earned the title of Ghost of Tsushima. This honestly felt like it took forever. The next day I was able to complete all of the Tales of Tsushima for the Helping Sword Hand trophy. I then earned the Light the Way trophy for rekindling all the lighthouses of Tsushima. And at this point it was just mainly travelling to every single question mark on the map, and I was able to find and honour all Shinto shrines on Tsushima. Then it was on to the rest of the question marks. That took me absolutely ages. Oh my god. The having to go to every question mark on the map was so frustrating. And I had no idea I had to talk to this woman for the hot spring. For the last one. I only knew because I only found it because I had that thing on the map where I can follow the wind for it. So we're on to the last trophy, so it should just be the bowing in front of the little images. So I'll just find the last few of those and then I'll bring you back for the last one. Okay, so that is the 10th one. I'll be honest, that's the first one I've done. And there we go, Living Legend, obtain all trophies. What an unbelievable game. Honestly, I'd recommend it to anyone. I know I slept on it way too long, but I should have played this so much sooner. But yeah, if you haven't played it, definitely give it a go. The platinum, I would recommend it, yes, but it is obviously quite a big grind. Takes around about 50 hours, so yeah, you got to have a lot of time on your hands. But yeah, amazing game, unbelievable. And there we go, that's the end of the video. I hope you all enjoyed, because I certainly did. If you want to watch any more platinum videos, then check out my 50-hour platinum challenge or my video comparing 3 games of the year from different eras to see which era of gaming is better. Once again, thank you for all of the support on the channel, and if you wanted to leave a like, that would be great, and if you wanted to subscribe, that's even better. Have a great day. Safe.